It's games like last night that make me appreciate the fact that I have hated Derek Carr for a long time now. Now, this is the first video I've made in a few months. I'm in school, so give me a break. But you can look at any video I made before this season, before any season, during any season. Anytime I talk about Derek Carr, it is that Derek Carr sucks. And it's games like last night. Look, I get it. They score on the opening drive. There's moments where Derek Carr looks good. He has that great pass to Devontae Adams over Jalen Ramsey on like the third play of the game, and that's the only thing that people remember from that game. And that's the thing about Derek Carr. He'll do one thing in the game where he'll make one throw, and you're like, man, Derek Carr, he has those throws in his repertoire. He can do some things that other quarterbacks can't. And that is true. Derek Carr is, I don't want to say an above average quarterback because I think quarterbacks in this day and age are 10 times better. The average quarterback today is 10 times better than the average quarterback was 10 years ago even. And Derek Carr, even though I don't think he's an above average quarterback, he's at least in the middle of the pack of quarterbacks. But that's the point. He's not a great quarterback. He's not even a good quarterback. He's not even an above average quarterback. And a game like last night, where the story going into the game is, okay, the Raiders are on a 3-game win streak. The Raiders have a chance right now, sitting at 5-7 last night at the time of the game, to right this ship, get to 6-7, get to a chance where they can still not only sniff a playoff spot, but they could still realistically get a 10-win season out of this year. And in a year where it seems like everybody's talking about Josh McDaniels in his second stint as a head coach, it's not going the way that he or anybody else in that Raiders organization wanted it to go. You talk about the defense being 25th in the NFL in terms of points allowed. You talk about the fact that they have a negative point differential. You talk about the fact that their running game, even though Josh Jacobs has 600 combined scrimmage yards in the last 3 games before last night, their running game is still just not like an incredible facet of their offense. There's nothing on this team where you look around and you're like, man, everything about this team is correct. Now, offensively, they score a lot of points. They score more points than a lot of teams in the NFL, and that is to Derek Carr's. That's a pro for Derek Carr. His offenses score a lot of points. And that's a good thing about Derek Carr. I can admit to that. But you cannot have a season in which your wins are against Russell Wilson twice, Davis Mills, Geno Smith, and your one good win is against an LA Chargers team who, let's be real, the Chargers lose to every team that is worse than them, and they beat every team that is better than them. They are not a consistent football team. If you can't beat a consistent football team, then what are you? You're an inconsistent team yourself, and you're not a good team. It takes a good team to beat bad teams, but just because you can beat bad teams, like they did against the Denver Broncos twice, and like they did against the Houston Texans, just because you beat those 2 bad teams 3 times combined, doesn't mean you're a good team. And the thing that just gets me about the Vegas Raiders every single year, there's a game where one of these motherfuckers has to dance. One of these motherfuckers has to dance and think, man, this shit's made. We're the best team in the league. We're killing it. You see Mac Hollins not only grittying, which I can't even believe I'm saying this sentence. Not only grittying on the way down to cover a punt, which that punt by AJ Cole was probably the best punt I've ever seen in my life, just from a pure straddling the sideline and still just rolling up to the 2-yard line. That was one of the greatest punts, not only all year, but one of the best punts I've ever seen in my life. You have Mac Hollins literally celebrating like he's wide receiver 1 on the Cowboys or the Eagles or the Bengals or a team with a winning record. You see Derek Carr watch a game of Patrick Mahomes and watch a game of Derek Carr. If you took every single throw, actual physical performance out of the film and you just looked at the body language of Derek Carr and Patrick Mahomes, you would think that those two guys are the exact same people. Because Derek Carr is always waving at people. He's always signaling first down. He's always pointing. He's always doing something to make it seem like he's just some huge star. And he's not. He never has been. He never will be. And he's a bad quarterback in today's NFL. He's a bad quarterback. And the thing about it is, yes, there's quarterbacks, there's players at the quarterback position that Derek Carr is better than. Yes, he's better than Zach Wilson. Yes, he's probably at this point right now, if you have to say who do you want in a playoff situation, who do you want, Derek Carr or Justin Fields? It's a toss-up because now Justin Fields actually gets the chance to run the ball. And even when defenses see it coming, they still can't stop it. But I think I would still say, okay, give me a playoff game. Give me Derek Carr slightly over Justin Fields. But, like, that's how low the bar is for Derek Carr. You're not taking Derek Carr over Kirk Cousins. You're not taking Derek Carr over Mahomes, over Allen, over Tua, over Prescott, over Burrow, over... Fuck it. I'm not taking him over Daniel Jones. I'm not taking him over fucking Mike White. I'm not even taking him over Zach Wilson, to be honest with you. I'm not. I'm really not. Because at least with Zach Wilson, at least the press conferences are just quiet and they're not ending in him crying like every single year. There's Derek Carr crying every single year. I have to see it. Derek Carr is crying either during the game or during the press conference or whatever. I have to see it every single time. And yeah, on one hand, it's like, man, he really puts his whole heart out there. He cares a lot about this game, blah, blah, blah. But, dude, you are the face of the franchise. If you are just crying every 5 minutes, that's what your team becomes. And that's what they are. The Raiders have been criers for the last 4 or 5 seasons. And I hate watching it. And every time they get their ass kicked, by the Chiefs, every time they get their ass kicked by anybody, it's like, oh, well, we're going to cry now about it. Like, I hate it. I hate watching the Raiders. I hate hearing about the Raiders in the media. I hate the Las Vegas Raiders. And a majority of the reason is because of Derek Carr. Because he sets the tone for that team. He's the quarterback. He has to set the tone. And I hate the tone that he has sent for this Las Vegas Raiders franchise. And to be honest, this is something I've said, again, for years now. They need to get rid of Derek Carr. You can't add the number 1 receiver in the NFL and be a worse team than you were the prior year. But somehow the Raiders managed to do that. Yes, they have a new coach. Yes, they have many new faces in that entire organization. Yes, they're coming off of a season where they had the John Gruden scandal that kind of honestly made them a better team once they fired John Gruden, which is weird. But, John Gruden wanted to get rid of Derek Carr for a reason, I would think, and I don't understand why there's not a bigger push in that front office, in that coaching staff, in that organization to move on from a guy who has never pushed the needle for that franchise, who's played in 1 playoff game in 10 years. Yes, he's gotten to them to the playoffs twice. He did not play against the Texans in that first game, which I really wish he would have, because that would have set it up earlier. 6 years ago when he made the playoffs with the Raiders but couldn't play, that would have set it up more perfectly for people to be like, man, maybe Derek Carr isn't that good. He lost to Brock Osweiler in the playoffs. Maybe he's not that good. But now we have to look at it. Now I have to sit here. I'm probably going to hear something in these next 4 weeks when he plays the Patriots, goes to Pittsburgh, plays the Niners, and plays the Chiefs, where there's going to be some sort of, we got counted out all season, and I just appreciate the fight and the passion of all these guys. They didn't do it because of you, bro. They shouldn't be doing it because of you, bro, because everything about you just sucks. And you have set this Las Vegas Raiders franchise up to fail. And they've been failing for about a decade with you at the helm now. And I'm honestly just, it annoys me. It annoys me when I watch it. And I'm tired of seeing it.